You plan to sue Blake Lively?
Absolutely.
You will?
Yes. You know, Justin Baldoni from the get-go said, I don't want to do anything negative toward her. I don't want to hurt her.
So why in this case should people not believe Blake Lively?
I think there's some behavior always that can make people uncomfortable, and I don't think anybody has the intention to do that.
Hey everyone, the tea is piping and I'm here to deliver. Ryan and Blake may have already set themselves up for the ultimate humiliation in court, and you're not going to want to miss this. Hollywood is no stranger to messy lawsuits, but this one is giving courtroom comedy special with a dash of secondhand embarrassment. Ryan Reynolds, Blake Lively, and Justin Baldoni are locked in a legal battle that started as your standard he said, she said, but has now spiraled into a full-blown anatomy lesson that no one, except maybe the stenographer, signed up for. So let's set the stage for you. If you've been living under a rock. Baldoni hit Reynolds and Lively with a $400 million lawsuit after they accused him of unspeakable acts and workplace retaliation. But then, Baldoni, in true Hollywood fashion, decided that just suing them wasn't enough. So he launched a website showcasing alleged texts between the parties. And this, my friends, is where things go from scandalous to downright bizarre. Because what's one of the most damning pieces of evidence in this high-stakes battle? A text from Ryan Reynolds himself, a man known for his quick wit, jokingly offering to tattoo a line producer's face on his perineum in exchange for an earlier filming start date. Yep, you heard that correctly. Ryan Reynolds' perineum is now officially part of a $400 million legal battle. Now imagine the sheer horror of this trial. The judge, the jury, the lawyers, all forced to sit through expert testimony on whether Ryan Reynolds' perineum joke constitutes inappropriate workplace behavior. Picture a lawyer standing in court straight-faced saying, "Mr. Reynolds, can you confirm if you did in fact offer up your perineum in a professional negotiation?" And right there you can see Blake Lively's soul leaving her body. This woman survived the Gossip Girl scandal years and the green screen nightmare that was Green Lantern, but nothing could have prepared her for this. Meanwhile, Baldoni's lawyers are probably rubbing their hands together in glee, knowing full well they're about to put Deadpool himself on a giant courtroom projector and make the jury listen to hours of testimony about the importance of perineum placement in Hollywood contract negotiations.
Justin Baldoni's attorney, Brian Friedman, tells me they're not done taking legal action following their lawsuit against the New York Times. Lively's team, though, they're saying they're going to defend her accusations in court. Friedman insists the truth is in those documents and that Blake Lively is the one who used her power and influence to take control of the film. You plan to sue Blake Lively?
Absolutely.
You will?
Yes. You know, Justin Baldoni from the get-go said, I don't want to do anything negative toward her. I don't want to hurt her.
Was there a coordinated smear campaign to bring down Blake Lively?
100% no.
So why in this case should people not believe Blake Lively? Justin Baldoni has built his brand and is known for supporting women, believing women.
I am more than willing to take every single text message. I'm not asking anyone to not believe anyone. Have them see the truth and determine the truth for themselves. I think there's some behavior always that can make people uncomfortable, and I don't think anybody has the intention to do that.
Lively is seeking compensation for what she says have been lost wages and mental pain. She says she suffered throughout all of this. Baldoni says Lively's husband, Ryan Reynolds, aggressively berated him during a meeting at their New York apartment, accusing him of fat-shaming his wife.
The real victims here, though? The jury. These poor people thought they'd be ruling on defamation, but now they're stuck in what can only be described as a deranged anatomy lecture with celebrity cameos. Things are not looking great for the couple elsewhere either, because Baldoni's claims go as far as adding that Blake's publicist made him a scapegoat in order to escape the demon's wrath. Yep, the demon in question, Blake Ever So Lively. Now, if you thought the perineum text was the peak of this drama, buckle up because we are far from done. Baldoni is now dragging Blake's publicist, Leslie Sloan, into the chaos, claiming that she personally orchestrated a grand conspiracy to make him the fall guy for Blake's problems. A Hollywood PR expert playing 4D chess? Who could have seen that coming? Oh, right, everyone. Baldoni argues that Sloan didn't just play defense for Blake. She allegedly spent months planting damaging breadcrumbs about him in the press, while privately spinning stories to reporters like she was auditioning for the next season of Scandal. And all of this, according to Baldoni, was done so that Blake could save face and avoid her own backlash. Meanwhile, Blake and Ryan have officially hit panic mode and are now seeking a protective order to keep their private texts and celebrity conversations under lock and key. Why? Because they're terrified that Baldoni's team will leak them to the public. And here's where it gets extra spicy. Who exactly are these high-profile individuals that Blake and Ryan don't want to get dragged into this mess? Well, their inner circle includes Taylor Swift, Hugh Jackman, Emily Blunt, John Krasinski, and Gigi Hadid, so you already know there's some tea in those texts. Baldoni even claims that Blake referred to herself as Khaleesi, yes, from Game of Thrones, calling Ryan and Taylor her dragons. I mean, what in the HBO fan fiction is going on here? And while Taylor has been strategically silent, PR experts say that her continued refusal to comment speaks volumes. But someone who comes to mind when it comes to media rebuttal has to be Anna Kendrick. Super honorary mention after her latest hilarious red carpet Blake snub. Now, when it comes to Hollywood scandals, most celebrities choose to either dodge, deflect, or go full PR-approved damage control. But Anna Kendrick? Oh, she took the scenic route, straight through psychedelic oblivion. While promoting another simple favor, the sequel to her 2018 film with Blake at the South by Southwest Film Festival, Kendrick was bravely approached by a Variety reporter about whether the film's release was being impacted by, well, everything going on in the world, pointing obviously to the circus that is Blake versus Baldoni. And did Kendrick fumble? Absolutely not. Instead, she delivered what might be the most iconic non-answer of the year. Why? What happened? I did ayahuasca and the last year of my life is just gone, but I've heard the movie is amazing. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a masterclass in elite media evasion. If you're unfamiliar, ayahuasca is a wildly potent hallucinogenic brew traditionally used in South American shamanic rituals, and let's just say its main feature is making you see things that aren't there.
Anna, what does it mean to be working with Blake again?
We're talking about you all day.
Oh my god, I'm shaking.
Oh, it's video and it's facing the wrong way.
How does it feel like the movie's being impacted kind of by everything happening around going on in the world?
Why? What happened?
They keep him on a strict schedule. They keep him on.
Much like the Hollywood PR teams trying to erase this lawsuit from public memory. With this one quip, Kendrick effortlessly sidestepped all legal drama, avoiding picking a side, and turned the entire situation into a joke so good that the internet instantly crowned her a legend. Social media exploded, with fans calling her response Oscar-worthy evasion and the art of saying a lot without saying anything at all. Others simply bowed to her comedic timing, dubbing her iconic and a pro at this game. And honestly, they're not wrong. While everyone else is panicking, hiring lawyers, and issuing statements, Anna Kendrick is out here pretending she spent the last year lost in the jungle, sipping mystical tea, completely unaware of the Hollywood inferno raging around her. Moral of the story? When in doubt, just blame ayahuasca.
Honestly, so Paul, we really wanted to make this second movie, and I was like, Paul, he wanted to shoot in Capri, and like it's just magical. And they sell hats. That crazy, beautiful hat was just a hat in a store. Like it's a roof. We need it. And it was like yes. So anyway, it's just like it's pretty magical.
But Anna is not alone in her wittiness, because SNL's Colin Jost, who, by the way, is also Scarlett Johansson's husband, the same Scarlett, do I need to remind you, Ryan Reynolds' ex-wife, is also taking a swipe at Blake's lawsuit. Now, if there's one thing Saturday Night Live does well, it's ruthless pop culture jabs, and this time, Blake and Baldoni's Hollywood courtroom disaster was front and center. And who better to deliver the punchline than Colin Jost, aka Weekend Update's resident king of sarcasm and ScarJo's real-life husband, which just adds an extra layer of spicy irony to this whole thing. While discussing Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky's disastrous visit to the White House, Jost casually threw out this absolute dagger. Zelensky was asked to leave the White House. Then he appeared on Fox News and said he thinks he can still salvage his relationship with President Trump, which is like Justin Baldoni saying, "I'd love to work with Blake again." Ouch.
Thinks he can still salvage his relationship with President Trump, which is like Justin Baldoni saying, "I'd love to work with Blake again."
The comparison was so brutal, you could feel the collective internet wheezing. Because let's be honest, the only thing less likely than Trump-Zelensky reconciliation is Baldoni and Blake ever sharing a movie set again. Because let's be honest, at this point, their best chance at a reunion would be a courtroom documentary. Now let's not forget, Blake and Ryan were just on SNL 2 weeks before this, appearing at the SNL 50th anniversary special. And guess what? They weren't exactly untouchable that night either. When Tina Fey casually asked Reynolds, "How's it going?" the Deadpool star played into the moment with some A+ nervous energy, blurting out, "Great, why, what have you heard?" Classic. Ryan preemptively roasting himself before the show could do it for him? That's a PR strategy I respect. But clearly, it may have come from a place of prejudice. Let's be real, if Ryan is rolling with the jokes, you know Blake was fuming watching Jost take her lawsuit and turn it into the joke of the night. I mean, it's one thing to have legal troubles, it's another to have your courtroom saga reduced to an SNL punchline.
Anna, we love you. I'm
Anna,
sorry
let's
you
go
had
grab
to
a
work
bite.
with Blake. I'm sorry you had to work with Blake, Anna.
Speaking of Scarlett Johansson, nothing solid ever came out about what really ended Scarlett and Ryan's short, blink and you miss it marriage. Well, now that Ryan and Blake are back in the legal spotlight, for all the wrong reasons, people are suddenly revisiting the OG Reynolds romance, his whirlwind 2-year marriage to Scarlett Johansson. Yes, folks, before he was Mr. Blake Lively, Ryan was actually Mr. Black Widow, but only briefly. Their marriage, which lasted from 2008 to 2011, was shorter than the runtime of some of Ryan's Deadpool movies, and let's just say it wasn't pretty. So what went wrong? For starters, work schedules. Classic Hollywood excuse, but in this case, kind of valid. Both Ryan and Scarlett were at the peak of their careers, bouncing from film set to film set like two ships passing in the night. A source from back then even spilled she was unhappy for a while, so things have been bad long before called it quits. Then there's Scarlett herself, who has admitted that at 23 she had no real understanding of marriage. Who does? Meanwhile, Ryan allegedly had a more traditional mindset, which, according to rumors, sometimes veered into control freak territory. Let's just say, two strong-willed type A people in one marriage, tension city. And then, of course, there was jealousy. Apparently, Ryan wasn't a fan of Scarlett's musician friends, which, to be fair, given her indie rock social circle, meant a lot of hipster dudes with guitars. Meanwhile, Scarlett wasn't too thrilled about Ryan's co-star chemistry with a certain Blake Lively, who, in case you forgot, was his leading lady in Green Lantern around the exact time his marriage was crumbling. And here's the kicker. Scarlett's suspicions weren't wrong. Witnesses back then claimed Ryan and Blake were already acting like a couple at restaurants before the divorce was even finalized. And sure enough, by 2012, Ryan and Blake were married. So was it just the crazy work schedules, or did the Green Lantern effect push things over the edge? We'll probably never know for sure, but one thing's certain, Blake went from being the rumored side-eyed co-star to full-on Mrs. Reynolds faster than I can blink an eye. Join me on the next one.